Good morning, everybody. Hopefully, this is working. First time I've used this platform. If not, then you'll see a blue screen and away we'll go. We'll always play around with it and see. Oh, it looks like I am live. I have my phone over here, just kind of checking and seeing. Uh, Different format for this. Wanted to do this for a while. I have, of course, the Breakfast Leadership Show, which I've been doing for almost 7 years now, which is still shocking that I've been doing it for that long. But I've wanted to do something occasionally and just go live and throw a couple things out there to see, how they stick, and more importantly, just kind of share some insights that I often don't do as much on the show or in the articles that I write or even in the interviews that I'm on. So that's what the format of this is all about. I'm going to jump on at least once a week, maybe twice a week. I haven't decided if I'm going to do Friday or not, but I'm aiming to do Monday morning at 9 a.m. Eastern time, whether it's standard or daylight or whatever time, just to get out there and chat with everybody. And uh, I'm just going to share some thoughts on some things. I don't know if I'll do guests on the show or not. We'll see if I want to go down that road or not. I'm not opposed to it, but we'll play it by ear and see. So, a few things I want to chat about this morning. An article that I saw this morning in the Wall Street Journal, and as I talk a lot about efficiency, burnout prevention, resilience, workplace culture, all kinds of fun stuff. And there was an article that jumped out at me. It was posted in the journal on to-do lists. And I think one of the key things of people burning out and being overwhelmed by work is they have too much to do. My work list is too much. I'll never get my work done. There's a mindset thing I want you to think about on that phrase, I'll never get my work done. That's actually a good thing because if you won't finish your work, that means they still need you there to do the work. If you don't have any work to do, they won't need you. You're redundant, and then you get to be one of the thousands of people that we're hearing getting laid off all the time. Another thing I want to warn you about, or alert you to, not warn, more alert, is when you see companies say, okay, this company has laid off, 5,000 employees or 2,000 employees or three stores or something like that. Go to their job board page. Guess what? They're hiring. It's an exercise that a lot of organizations do. They streamline some things and they go in different directions. They say, okay, we're going to scale back this division, but we're going to ramp up this other division. And sometimes the people that they're laying off won't fit in those roles. Nothing against the people, nothing against the company. They just won't fit. So they bring on different talent to be able to do things. So when you hear the stories of layoffs, stores closing, things like that, it's like, oh, that's horrible. But another mindset thing for you to think about is, let's say you're running a store and you're losing money every month on it, but you have a second store that's making a lot of money. Unless you really, really, really want to stay in that area where that store that's losing all the time, keep it open, um, you probably close it. Well, it's the same thing that the companies are doing. They're closing the stores because they're not performing well, or unfortunately, as we're seeing more and more, there's some high crime areas where they say it's just not worth it for us to keep this store open anymore because the retail theft and burglaries and all that other stuff just doesn't make it a safe place for people to shop. So we're going to close it. And I'm not going to get into that political debate, but it's concerning to say the least because those people start losing out on services in their area, which then can make an area really, really, really difficult to deal with. But anyway, going back to the Wall Street Journal article, they talk about the to-do lists and all of that, and they said, you know what you need to do? Create a to-done list. So keep track of the things that you finish and accomplish and check those things off. So you can look and say, wow, I've accomplished a lot today. It may not be what you had on your to do list, but it does show that you were accomplishing things. Once you get that momentum going, then you can start working on the disciplines to focus on the most important tasks that you need to do. And you should pick one or two a day at max that you want to accomplish, whether it's at work or personal life or whatever. Make sure you get those things done because when you start focusing on the most important things you should be doing and you put your attention on that, you're going to finish those things and you're going to get more efficient at doing that and learn from yourself. Learn, okay, why was I so efficient on this one? Was it because I did it at a time where I don't get a lot of interruptions, or was it, I did it because I like doing this kind of work? Well, there's a lot of insight that you can do to help you accomplish more by doing less, quite frankly. So that's one thing. Second thing, on the Breakfast Leadership Show this week, I interviewed Bjorn, and he and I talked about light energy and how light, lights like you see, LED lights and things like that, but utilizing light energy and technology can actually be used to heal the body. And they have some equipment that they've been working on and releasing to the public that, quite frankly, is amazing. It does some absolutely amazing stuff on being able to help heal certain things by using light, instead of medicines and drugs and other things that can help but also have a whole lot of side effects, as we hear and see in the commercials, where they'll say it's 10 seconds about what the medication does and 50 seconds of how it's going to try to kill you. Being sarcastic there, but side effects may include dry mouth, diarrhea, da, 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 and possibly death. Oh yeah, I want to take 100 milligrams of that a day. It's again, not knocking pharmaceutical companies at all, but it's like it's kind of like playing Russian roulette. I'm not really sure I want to do that with my health. So anytime I see innovations in using technology or things that we naturally have to help heal our bodies, I'm definitely going to be in tune to it. So give that a listen. It's available on all your podcast flavors. Although I did see the other day that Google Podcast is ending, so they'll be driving all of that traffic over to YouTube, which makes sense because I know YouTube is amping up their podcast game, so it makes perfect sense for them to drive people to that platform instead. So give it a listen. Also, a couple weeks ago, I released an interview with former founding Amazon executive John Rossman, and he wrote the book The Amazon Way. Really insightful book to kind of give the history of that very very big company that wasn't always big, but it definitely shows a lot of insights as to how they were able to dominate and grow and all of that, and a lot of leadership lessons there. So if you're a leadership junkie like me, go pick up that book. There's a link in the show notes for that as well. But definitely get that book. Uh, Another thing that jumped out at me the other day too, and I'll talk about this the next time or maybe on one of my episodes. And it's talking about workplace health and the wellness programs that a lot of organizations are starting to amp up on quite a bit. And what they're finding, and this was a UK study, indicated that they're not working. So companies are dumping tons of money into these programs. And I'm not just talking about the EAP programs that a lot of companies have had for years, but the additional resources that people have been putting in because mental health is so important. People aren't using them, and or they are using them, but they're not seeing the results that they would anticipate. So many factors to unpack there. And I'll do some writing about that and probably do an episode about that. I might reach out to the author of the article to get some more insights from there, or at least do some research in other areas and share my thoughts and experiences and what I've seen. But it wasn't a shock to me that a lot of these employee benefits are not working because there's a lot of factors involved, but specifically, there's still the stigma with mental health. And I know in Canada, Bell Let's Talk is coming up. Uh, we're talking about it, which is great. We need to address it. A lot more people are dealing with mental issues than we originally anticipated. I'd pretty much say everybody is at some point. Everybody has some type of trauma or things in their past or their present, or maybe fearing the future about some things that are really causing them a lot of angst. And so it's good to have resources to be able to address that. But in a workplace setting, there's just it's not doing the things that I think everybody wanted. I think they were looking for that magic bullet and say, okay, Here, we'll do a wellness program. They'll teach you how to meditate and do yoga and eat better, and you'll be a happy little employee, and everything will be back to the way it should be. Mm, be careful on that word should. Uh, it's, it's more dynamic than that. And I think a lot of it comes down to workplace safety. And I'm not talking just about, don't getting injured, work, from physical things, but employees need to feel safe. They need to feel that they're trusted to do a great job. Give them the tools they need to be successful. As an employer, wouldn't you want your team to be successful? Because that's going to benefit your company. So you want to invest in your people and invest in them the ways that they want to grow. Talk with them. What's important to you? It's how I've turned around organizations in my past. Just talk to people. What do you want? If you were in this seat, what would you do? That's a scary question for a lot of executives to ask, but it's an important one to ask. It's like, okay, what would you do? What are you seeing from your vantage point that I'm not? Or if you were in this role, what would be one of the first things you would do? And you know what? They'll give you the ideas if they feel safe and non-judged to be able to share those insights. So it's important for you to, embrace that dialogue and communication. It's always that. It always comes down to communication. Doesn't matter if it's the workplace, at home, border skirmishes, wars, you name it. It all boils down to communication. You seek to understand the other people's point of view. Why do they feel this way? Why is this important to them? There may be some common ground there you can work from. But unfortunately, in this world, and I blame social media for this, um, uh, that's my own opinion, we've been more jaded over the last decade or so than I think we have in the past. We're very short tempered, extreme to a certain degree where we don't see the other person's point of view. We won't even look at it. And we have our beliefs, and that's what they are. And knowing the things that I know over my lifespan, is my beliefs have changed in many arenas because I learned more. I gained perspective. And when you close that opportunity off, it makes you rigid, makes you more prone for stress, makes you more prone to get upset. Prolonged stress turns to burnout. So, not being open to other opinions and ideas just to understand them can actually lead to prolonged stress. It's kind of ironic if you think about it. But at the end of the day, you got to take care of you, focus on you, seek to understand, um, speak up when things aren't right in your world, but not in a complaining way, but say, you know what, I need some help on this, or let's chat this out and figure out what would we can do to make this better. And when we do that, I think life as a whole will improve for you, for your coworkers, for the people in your life, society, your community, everything. Just be more open to things. And, it's tough out there. I know. And there's a lot of things that I'm hearing and reading about that this particular year is going to have some interesting challenges. We'll leave it at that. But ultimately, focus on your well being and take care of what you can take care of. Don't fret or stress or worry about things that are out of your control because you can't do anything about it anyway. But you can do a lot to take care of you. So, I think I'm going to wrap it up here. Just testing out this platform. I'll kind of see how it looks in the post, and then we'll proceed from there. But if I don't speak to you before, should chat with you next Monday, 9 a.m. Obviously, follow me, breakfastleadership.com. I'm on most of the social media channels. LinkedIn is usually the best place to find me, but I'm in other ways as well. So until next time, make sure you take care of yourself, take care of the people you love. Be well.